Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cozy Mystery Book Club interview for January 2023. I can't believe we're already halfway through the month. I'm here today with author Nikki Haverstock, who is the author of the month. And I'm Zara Keane, also one of the Cozy Mystery Book Club authors, and I'll be with you again in March. So over to Nikki. I'm so thrilled to have you back again. This is your third year running in
hmm
the book club. And as if I recall correctly, you've always had January. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's my month.
It seems exactly, it seems to be your month. So for the people who don't know you yet, I'm going to give a quick overview of your official bio from your website. So you live on a small ranch high in the Rocky Mountains, and you've studied comedy writing at Second City. You've published over 20 cozy space and paranormal mysteries that are heavy on the humor. And before fleeing the city, you hosted a competitive archery reality show. Wow.
hmm
You've traveled the world to study volcanoes. You taught archery and computer science at university, and you worked on your family's ranch herding cattle. Wow,
hmm
that's so many super interesting things. And I'm sure that you bring some of those into your books as well.
hmm
So, yeah, thanks so much for being with us today. I'm really excited to dive into a chat about your book of the month, which is
hmm
actually a twofer. It's
Yep.
the do how would we say that, duet
Duology, maybe
duology, maybe? Yeah, it's not
book
because
bundle.
yeah, exactly. Of Casino Witches, books
hmm
1 and 2. So can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the series, and also maybe for listeners to see like where you came up with the idea for this specific paranormal cozy mystery series?
Yeah. So, the first the first genre I ever read, adult genre, was cozy mysteries. And then the first, because my mother really liked them. And so we would swap them when I was pretty young, like 10 or 11, we would swap, back in the day, Joanna Fluke, Diane Mott Davidson, I think might have been The Cat Who.
Hmm.
I think might have been, we were reading Diane Mott Davidson, Goldie Bear catering one when it was coming out. Like that's how long ago it was. And then fantasy was the first one that I read solo as, you start to figure out your own tastes and stuff. And so I'd always loved both of those. And I had started writing cozy mysteries, and a miracle among miracles, we were able to have a child. It had been kind of out of the cards for us at that point. But anyone who's had a kid knows, or, pregnancy, you're such a different person after birth,
Yep.
or at least you feel that way. Your brain's kind of mushy. And so I didn't want to go back to my existing series, which was the archery themed series, which has been a book club I think the very first book club
That's right.
selection.
Yeah, you were
The very
exactly. Yeah.
and so I decided, well, I'm gonna write something different for me. And of course, you and I both grew up in the age of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then this paranormal cozy kind of phenomenon came, and I was like, I could combine two of my favorite things. So I decided, with pregnancy or postpartum brain, I would just write something for fun, just to make sure that I hadn't, I don't know, forgotten what I was doing. I had only been published for like a year and a little bit when I gave birth. So I wasn't very experienced writer. And so I just started writing, and I just wrote what I wanted and a character I wanted. And it was like I could take all the fun stuff that I liked about things like Buffy, and I loved urban fantasy when that was really popular in the early 2000s. Um, I was so into that. And I was like, oh, I could combine them because I know how to write a cozy. Like I know that structure of like you kill someone, you get your suspects, you get a bunch of clues, you figure it out. Like I love that structure. And then I could just add all the other fun stuff I wanted. So
Yeah, that's great. And how many books are already out in the Casino Witches series?
there's 7 out, and I am writing today, this moment, book 8.
Oh, wow.
And so that should be out. It's going a little slow, maybe 3 or 4 months. So maybe spring, early summer, that next book should be out.
That's exciting. And
So
is
I'll have
that then
8.
going to be the longest series you've written so far, or any of your others up around the book 7, book 8?
The archery series, I can't remember if it's 7 or 8. I could count it out, but it's 7 or 8. And then, but this one has, it's ahead by 3 short stories.
Okay.
So But they're about tied, those two series.
Yeah, you're going to need to update your bio soon with like what was it? You got like more than 20 books. So you've got
I
yourself covered, but
I
it's gonna be
do have
like
more
more
than
than 30
20,
books.
but it's getting a little loosey goosey. Like I think I updated that a book or two before
Mhm.
I had covered past 20 because my I said something and I'm like, I did the math because you have I have novellas and I have short stories and you
Mhm.
got full books and you have novellas into all that. So um yeah, it's crazy. It felt like it took so long to get to 10 books,
Yeah.
and then they just keep coming. They just keep amassing. It's coming faster and faster.
Yeah. And how many books do you usually publish a year at this and now at this stage, like on average, or do you even have an average year?
About three,
Okay.
about three
Yeah.
and change.
Hmm.
So, and then some of the books come really fast. And so then it'll be like three within 8, 7 months, and then there'll be like one that takes 5 months. But
Yeah.
about three is how it works out.
Okay. So you have, I think, what was it that I counted on the website? You have, is it 4 or 5 series? Is it 4 series in addition to Casino Witches?
Well, I have archery, I
Hmm.
have reality TV, I have Casino Witch, I have the space murders, and I have the new mermaid. So yeah, so five total.
Wow. And for people who've enjoyed the Casino Witch books this month in the book club, of the other series, which one do you think they might enjoy? Like if they really like that vibe that you have going in the Casino Witches with the paranormal
With the
atmosphere.
paranormal, I would say it's the mermaid series, which is
Okay.
Mermaid in Troubled Water, is another paranormal. It's a little different world, and it's not as far along. I just have 3 books right now.
I absolutely love the covers for that series.
I
They're
do
just
too.
so cute. It's just
I do too.
adorable. So yeah, people please go check out those covers and check out the books. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on from your books, you have a lot in your bio that obviously you pull into your books.
Yeah.
You have done archery on a competitive level. You've taught archery and you bring that
Hmm.
into your archery series. You have the reality TV series. You hosted a reality TV
Yeah.
series. And you also have, I don't know how to describe it, so please correct me because I'm going to get this wrong. Um, you run a YouTube channel where you do recaps on
Yes.
reality TV with your husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And if you aren't familiar with recaps, they are somewhere between like a Wikipedia plot summary and television criticism, like book movie reviews or something like that. And the I was a big fan of them before I started doing them.
Okay.
And it's like if you watch a TV show that no one else watches and you want that water cooler moment, but you maybe work from home, that's sort of what our channel is. And it actually started as an acting exercise for the reality TV show I was hosting, like to practice just being on camera and becoming more comfortable. But I love the community that came from it. And which, am I allowed to say how
Yes.
you're tied to?
Includes my mother. Yes.
We figured it out quite a few years ago, but we figured out where was she visiting or something, or she was
Yeah,
talking to
it
you.
was the most hilarious thing. We were literally sitting beside each other. I was talking to you in our Slack group, and she was on her, I think she had her iPad or something, and she was, yeah, I've got to look up something on YouTube. Like I love this channel, etc. Um, this lady and her husband who do these recaps, and somehow we got on the name, and I was like, wait a second, Rancher Nikki, there cannot be because your email address that I was
Mhm.
using for you had that in it. We figured it out with you. And it
Yeah.
was just it's insane thing. Like it's such a small world. So yes,
Yeah.
she's a huge fan of your channel, particularly your, I believe it's the Sister Wives recaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I joke that that's my niche. My husband and I have recapped Sister Wives, which is now a big popular show. It was this niche show, but all the wives left and now people can't get enough of it. But I've recapped it for like 8 years. I've done it as long as I've been writing books. And
Wow.
so my I know I started at the exact same time. I was trying to figure out after the reality show didn't work. I was like, what am I gonna do with the rest of my life? And I'm like, I'm gonna write books because I have always loved reading. So yeah, so my husband and I do that, and it's kind of started to blow up a little bit. So it's taking a little more time and attention. But I don't think of it as being as weird from writing as a lot of people do, because a lot of what we do is talk about people's motivation, what we think they're hiding, what they think they really do, stuff like that. And I feel like it's not that different than writing a murder mystery where people are trying to present one thing and hide something else. And um, I don't know. To me, it makes perfect sense that I do both, but it is a little weird when I encounter readers or other authors who are like, "Where do I know you from?" And they're like, "You do sister wife stuff on TikTok." And I'm like, because I'm also on TikTok. And it's a little bit like, yeah, so what can I help you with today? Kind of thing.
No, I love it. I think that it's fascinating. And I can like I don't watch reality TV that often, but I can understand where you're coming from when you say that through watching these shows, you are looking at people's motivations, reading between the lines, like what are they not saying, and so on. And I can see how that actually helps your fiction too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we're doing is trying to write believable murderers who are lying to people. That's what I like about cozies is like, I don't know, it's almost like you read and you have a job because you're trying to track clues and suspects and motivations, and then thinking, well, is that something a killer would say? Or is that something an innocent person would say? And people are, and I watch a lot of the first 48. I don't know if you have that show.
Mm,
It's
no. Oh,
it's sort of
I don't know actually.
it's a kind of it follows the first 48 hours after a homicide investigation, which is like most homicide
Oh.
investigations that are solved, it's the first 48 hours. And they get a lot of footage of the cops and like interrogations, and it's crazy because I would think as a writer, oh, people would just never admit this kind of stuff.
Mm,
And then you watch real life murder cases and they do it all the time. And I'm like, oh,
okay.
I guess I could just have people, you know, I could, I my idea of what people would do when someone they know is murdered is different than what people actually do when someone they know is murdered. So I watch a lot of TV. I like TV.
That's fascinating. I watch a lot of TV as well, but more in the fiction realm. But I totally watch and I'm making notes on character development and arcs and stuff like that. And I can see how actually watching reality TV and real people reacting to situations is excellent fodder for your
Yeah,
books.
it is. It's also, I mean, of course, it's much sadder because in our reality, our world, it's never too gruesome or too, whereas reality is sometimes a little, it's a little too
Mhm.
real. But yeah, I go through I think cozy TV shows are some of my favorite to watch. And luckily that is popular a TV as it is a book genre.
Yeah, I think that it's got a resurgence as well during the pandemic, or at least that was my feeling. I
Hmm.
don't get Acorn. I believe that's one of your
Yeah.
channels or cables, something in the US, but suddenly I was hearing about people like subscribing to these places and they were watching all of these. No, I won't say light and fluffy because not all of them are on the light and fluffy, but they're less like solving the crime is less based on forensic science and more
Yeah.
based on the people and the puzzle element and working out
Hmm.
people's motivations and so on. I mean, that's really how I would define a modern cozy, really.
Yeah. And
But
they're really, really popular.
Yeah.
Knives Out, Glass
Hmm.
Onion, and then we just finished watching the show Wednesday, which is essentially, it's not
Hmm.
a, it's a little too gruesome to be cozy, but it's sure a lot like a paranormal. It starts off with a series of unsolved murders and
Hmm.
attacks and stuff, and it's just basically a mystery show, for specifically sort of for a teen slash it's for a teen audience, but of course adults love it. We really enjoy it. My husband's watched it twice already.
Okay. Yeah, that's on our to watch list, so I'm gonna have to bump that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really liked it. And it
So.
was fun because for my husband, we like after every episode we sit and we would like talk through like, oh, because of this, because of that, this, because of here, there, it can't be so and so, or I think that's a red herring. And it was really fun because I haven't done that with him before. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, I'm going to, because it's something like 8 episodes.
Mhm.
So you have more time to like digest each episode. So I
Yeah.
pressured him into doing my favorite thing, like always.
So if people want to watch your YouTube channel, I'm going to pop a link in the description section underneath
Okay.
here in YouTube or on YouTube. What is your channel called?
It's Rancher Nikki, but if you type in just my name, Nikki
Mhm.
Haverstock, or Rancher Nikki, Nikki spelled the same, Nikki, you can find me. It comes
Okay.
up super, super easy. Yeah, you Google me anywhere. You're going to get my books. You're going to get the TV show I did. You're going to get our YouTube channel. It's like I said, if anyone ever doesn't know and they Google me, they're going to get everything. And it's going to be a little bit like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, that makes it exciting. That makes it interesting, and I think it makes you unique in the author community. And one thing we haven't touched on, that I hope this is okay that I touch on as
Yeah,
well.
for sure.
You also, in addition to your writing and recaps, you are a coach
Yeah.
for authors,
Yes.
which is yet another facet to um, what you do when you're not physically writing a book. So can you tell us a little bit about how you came into that and maybe how that
Yeah.
also influences your writing, your own books?
Yeah. So for me, it comes from I was an archery coach for 20 years and I got a master's degree in sports psychology, performance enhancement. And I've always had a huge passion in helping people reach their best, and so obviously, this as authors, we take a ton of classes. We go to conventions, we go to masterminds, we take classes. And I believe you and we have a small group of friends who write together, recommended this class first, took it before me with
Yeah.
Becca Syme, the Write Better Faster class. And I took it and I loved it and took all the classes and just really had missed one of the things I missed when I moved was I stopped coaching full time and I really missed that mentorship aspect, the teaching aspect. Um, and I saw what they were doing and I went to Becca and was like, would you ever, I'm really interested in this. And she kind of was like, well, if you're, we kind of were able to assess that, like, yes, this is something that I'm interested in. Yes, she might be interested in
Hmm.
having another person on staff. And I kind of did like a long-term internship and
Yeah.
then I got the certification, the Strength Finder certification. And so I work with her and I teach classes on right now. You know this, we're teaching a
Yes.
class on burnout and
Yes.
overwhelm. I do a lot of individual author coaching. And it's
Which I can
all,
highly recommend, guys.
thank
Nikki's
you.
really good at it. And I'm not
Uh,
just saying this because I like Nikki. She's really good at it.
yeah, she has to like me. We've been Zara was my mentor for my very first book. We a long time ago were on a forum that would do mentorships, and she was my mentor, and she is fully responsible from getting me from a completed manuscript to a published manuscript.
Oh,
And
thank you.
it's absolutely true.
You were an
Um,
absolute joy to mentor
thank
because
you.
you actually did what I said. I mean, this is a horrible thing to say, but I'm a former teacher too. So it's so nice, when you have somebody who's receptive to learning and is a real go-getter, and that definitely defines you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And so I do a lot of the whole organization that I coach for. The theory is that like everyone needs something different, and so let's get a match between the author and their personality and like um training tools for what's going to help them. It's funny, I was just saying this yesterday. My coaching philosophy as an archery coach carries over exactly to the writing coaching that I do, because it's the same thing about like pairing people up with techniques that are going to work for best for them, finding areas of development that they're excited about, taking into account what works best for them. And it's the same thing, even though I don't know if you can get two different things other than competitive, Olympic style target archery and writing fiction books. But there you go. It's something I really enjoy. And if anyone is interested in that, you can look up the Better Faster Academy. And there's a Patreon level um, where you can coach with me, or you can take any of their amazing classes and get kind of an idea of what they do and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Take
I'll
take the
also add
burnout
the link
class.
in the notes here too for
Right.
people if they're interested. Yeah, no, that is super fascinating, and I can see how all of these different facets of your life then come together and make amazing fiction,
Well, thank you.
including
Yeah, I
dead
mean,
bodies.
I know. At some point we'll work that in as well. But I like to keep busy and do different things, and I don't have the best attention span. And so I can only do things for so many hours. So this is perfect. I can like hang out and talk to people and do that for a few hours. I can write for a few hours. I can go, and my husband and I walk like 2 hours a day every day with the dogs, and we've got horses, and I call him my emotional support husband because I said that he takes the dogs on walk because they need it for their mental health, and he takes me on walks for my mental health, and so we have a good time.
Perfect. That's
Yeah,
the ideal scenario.
yeah.
So thank you so much for
Thank
chatting with
you.
me today. We have already touched on what was going to be my last question, which is what you're working on now. You mentioned you're working on the eighth Casino Witch mystery,
Yes.
which has a projected publication date of early summer,
Yep.
roughly.
Yep.
Do you have anything else that's coming up before then, or anything else that you have in the works for 2023?
Well, I will say I have all my books wide, so they're requestable through the library. I am narrating my own audiobooks, so those kind of pop up sporadically every couple months. A new one will roll out. If you're really into Sister Wives, we're doing a rewatch. Come join us and make fun of your favorite polygamists. I don't know. I think that's it. I'm excited about the new book. It's loosely based. It's based on the same premise of Miss Congeniality. So she's going undercover at a beauty pageant, and then it
Oh,
kind
I
of
love that.
diverts from there. But I saw it and I was like, I want to do that, and so I'm going to do it my own way. Um, yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me again for the book club, and everyone should check out your books as well. You run this
Thank
whole
you.
show, and you make sure that all the readers get their books every month. And I know that that is difficult with technology, and you do a great job.
Sometimes, yeah, I have a very nice helper called Kate, so she helps me as well.
Kate is great.
So where can readers find you if they want to keep in touch? Where's the best place for them to find you online?
NikkiHaverstock.com has all of my books. Kind of keep up. There's a newsletter you can sign up for. I send it out. Actually, I haven't sent it out this week, but usually every week I send it out. I send out information about what book is free. I almost always have an ebook free somewhere, new releases, things like that. That's really the best place to keep in touch is the
Okay.
newsletter.
Well, thank you so much. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone who's watching today. I hope you enjoyed this interview, and I hope very much that you enjoy your books of the month. Bye.
Thank you.